We're super stoked, guys. We're leaving Israel soon and headed to the Suez Canal. We're gonna go through the canal over to the Med and head to Turkey, and that will be our circumnavigation. We will have gone all the way around the world in this boat. So excited! Right now we're getting some more fuel and just get the last few things done over the next few days, stock up, get the paperwork needed to get into Turkey and to get out of Israel. And so we're so excited. In a previous episode, we discussed getting our passports renewed and heading over to Tel Aviv to pick them up. However, we recently learned that if you're 16 or older, your passport is valid for 10 years. But since Kate is still 15, hers would only be valid for 5 years. So we're just going to wait until June, till she turns 16, and then get them all renewed at the same time. So now we've decided to go ahead and head straight to Turkey when we leave here.
So we're fixing to start the last leg of our circumnavigation, which will complete everything in 58 Turkey. And
That's so cool.
We got a weather window here. It's looking good. Leave Monday morning and then get on up to the Suez Canal, and then from the Suez straight across to Turkey. And hopefully this weather holds, and we'll whip it right into Turkey there. Nice.
How long is all that going to take?
That should take probably around to, we should get there around the 5th. So 3 or 4 days, 5 days. Total to get all the way to Turkey. 2 days to get to the Suez, a day to get across the Suez, and then 2 or 3 days to Turkey.
Across the Med.
Across the Med.
That'll be a non-stopper.
Yeah, non-stopper.
Cool.
We're going to go non-stop anyway until we get to the Suez, so it doesn't matter.
Sweet. And you already got our agent lined up for the canal?
Got the agent lined up for the canal, got the agent lined up in Turkey, so we're set. Hopefully they don't have any more earthquakes in Turkey.
Oh, yeah.
And we can get into 58, and we will complete our circumnavigation there in Turkey.
Yay!
Yeah, I'll let it float away. I'll let it float away. I'll let it float away. Float away. Float away. Yeah, I'll let it float away. I'll let it float away.
In last week's episode, Keith discovered a faulty battery kill switch, which was shorting out our entire electrical system, which was a huge fire risk. But he was able to remove it and rewire the system to bypass the kill switch until we can find a new one. Okay, we're back at this parts place. I think it's open today. Keith is looking for a battery kill switch, but I don't think he can find it. So no go on the part.
So far.
So we're just gonna live without it.
Yeah, I can't. It's not a mission killer.
Okay, good deal.
It's not a mission killer.
What is all that? That's cool.
Oh, they drilled the holes too.
Oh, we got lots of them.
Yeah.
That's for the steps.
The steps.
Sugar scoops.
Yeah.
Nice. There's a submarine out here. There. So this episode is kind of like a conglomeration of sorts. I feel like I'm just kind of filming and we're doing random things. There's no rhyme or reason to it. When I say unscripted in some of my videos, that's kind of what this is. I don't have a plan. I don't know what we're gonna do next. I just start rolling and kind of tell you what we're doing, why we're doing it. But we have been watching these Instagram videos for the last couple weeks. They are so great. We narrowed it down to about 30 or 40 round 2 finalists. So we sent out a second request. All of this is private now, but we sent out a second request for another video, and they answer some questions, some more deep questions, some like what if scenarios, like if you were stranded on a deserted island with 10 strangers, what would be your contribution to the survival of the group?
First job would definitely be to build the shelter.
Build a nice shelter for us.
Shelter.
Shelter building.
By building shelters.
Build a shelter.
For me, definitely building shelter.
I think the greatest asset that I have to help contribute to the group would be hunting and foraging. So, I mean, I'm going to be out there fishing. Oh, just a second. I see one. if we were stranded, I'd be the one hunting. This right here, this is what we need. We need food.
And now me and Keith are gonna go get some groceries, some produce, real quick. Again, unscripted, random, bunch of little bitty clips here and there, sorry. What do you have to say about it?
What? What are we doing? We're going to Turkey.
We're hoping to have some decisions made on who's coming out in June. Hoping to have that decision made in the next few days before we leave, so that we can have a plan once we get to Turkey and start getting things done. We have a haul out scheduled for Greece. Keith already set that up. So, yeah. I like the store. One thing I think is really cool is that at these Hebrew bookstores and Arabic also, they read from right to left. So the spine is on the right side of the book. It's pretty cool. I'll show you. So this is a Hebrew bookstore, and you open it this direction, and you read that direction. And so their margins are all like right justified. There's the Michelle Obama book, but you read it from that side. That's kind of cool. Yo, what's up?
What's up?
So we're getting the car washed. Anytime we use anything, we make sure to get it clean. We fill it up with gas, and tomorrow me and Keith are gonna drive it up to Tel Aviv and return it to Joel, the kind soul that lent it to us, and we're gonna fly back. Unfortunately, we're not gonna take the boat to Tel Aviv. We're gonna head straight on to Turkey. Like I said earlier, we've been here a nice long time here in the Middle East, and we're ready to move on. And Keith asked me earlier, what have I learned about the Middle East? What have I learned from being here for so long? And I think probably the main thing that I've learned is that from being in Saudi Arabia and the Maldives, all the Muslim countries, the Arab countries here, the Israelis, and most of these cultures, their whole life is centered around their religion, their faith, and they are just as devout in their faith, whether it's Islam or the Jewish people, Judaism, or whatever. They're just as devout and passionate about that as we are in America about our Christianity. And so I think I've learned that, when I got out of my Christian American bubble, I've learned a lot about people, about how passionate they are about what they believe in, and they believe that's the right way to go. So it's interesting to just learn about all these cultures. Our kids are getting a really good education of world religions and world cultures. And anyway, that's the neatest thing that I've learned, I think, is just about the people and what people believe, and their whole their customs here. All of the things they do kind of revolve around their belief system, what they eat, what they don't eat, how they dress, how they don't dress, the holidays, the days they take off. And so anyway, that's kind of the neatest thing I've learned. What have you learned about these cultures, Keith?
One thing I've learned now that I've been outside the American bubble, and this is a fact everywhere, is that governments and media are the bane of our existence. I mean, every conflict I see now, everything I see is driven by fear and control from the government and media. It doesn't matter what government it is, whether it's American government, whether it's Australian government, African government, Saudi Arabia government, Egyptian government. It doesn't matter. Governments are the ones stoking fears, keeping people riled up. The media is their accomplice in this. They keep things going. They amplify any little issue that happens, and they keep people stirred up. Because from my perspective, being on the ground here in a lot of these places, that what we would consider hotbeds in America, but really most of the local people, most of the people who are actually living, like take Jordan for example, Jordan and Israel. Right over there's Jordan, I can see it. Right here's Israel. Every Israeli I talk to on the ground here, and every Jordanian I talk to over there, and every Egyptian right down here that I talk, they don't care about the politics of their governments. They all get along. Right here where we've been standing, there's several Arabs that work here, and they're Israelis. They're Israeli Arabs. They're citizens of Israel, and there's a lot of Arab citizens that are Israelis. They're born here, they're part of Israel, they're a citizen, they're not a second-class citizen, and they're treated with just as much respect, because I've watched how they've been treated, as a Jewish Israeli. What I've learned from all of this is that the governments are the ones stirring up, whether it's American government, whether it doesn't matter who it is. The governments and media keep people stoked up in fear. We got to build wall. We got to protect you. We got to protect you. We got to protect you. And so I've learned that most people don't want the wars. They don't want all this stuff. It's the government's pushing those things. The government's trying to, you know, they're making wars to feel important. That, hey, look at what we're doing for you. Look at what we're doing for you. So that's what I've learned. And the more I travel, the more I learn that governments are the bane of our existence. And we need governments, but we need healthy, transparent, honest governments and politicians, not the things we have in the world today. So that's my rant.
There you go. Another thing I've learned that's pretty cool is that in a lot of these countries, most of these countries, the products are in both English and their local language, so Hebrew or Arabic. So it's nice that I speak one of the most popular languages in the world. It's super clean after that dusty road trip the other day we took. This thing looks brand new.
All right, so here we go.
That says put your card in and do something. And we use Google Translate, by the way, y'all. Some of you have asked. Just basic Google Translate.
Okay, well, let's see, pump number 2. Click OK to continue.
There you go. So is the fuel the same, or is it like Hebrew fuel?
Gasoline.
Gasolina? Hola?
Gasolino.
¿Cómo está? Just like I mentioned before, even the street signs are in 3 different languages. Hebrew, the local language, Arabic, the neighboring country's language, and English, the world's most popular language. We had another fantastic Saturday lunch, or Shabbat, as it's called in Israel, and then hopped a flight back to the boat in Eilat.
This is the longest flight in Israel, the shortest flight. Tel Aviv to Eilat.
1 hour.
An hour.
3.5 hour drive, 1 hour flight. $100 a person. Pretty cheap. Amidst all our other busyness, we've managed to do lots of interviews and try to decide who we want to join us on the boat in June. We factor in several things, including personality on camera, whether they're an active and outdoorsy person, they've got to have a good sense of humor, and mostly just who would benefit most from this unique opportunity. We did make some decisions and gave them the exciting news, but we've decided to keep their identities private for now and have a big reveal when it gets closer to time for them to come out.
We liked you. We had a lot of other candidates that were really good, and so what this means for you is that you're going to be spending the summer with us in Greece.
Stop it. We're going on the boat. Oh my gosh, you guys.
Even though you were great, it looks like you're going to have to pack your bags and come to Greece.
Oh my god.
Yeah!
Oh my god, guys, I can't believe it. Oh my god, I can cry. I'm at the airport. Oh my god.
The problem you're going to have is you're going to be packing your bags and coming to Greece with us. Woo!
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Thank you guys so much.
We're choosing 3 girls and 2 guys again, and it's a really tough decision to pick who to come live with your family for a month. But stay tuned, we'll share all the details soon. And join us next week as we finally leave Israel and head towards the Suez Canal and the Mediterranean to complete our circumnavigation.